Welcome. Let's dive into today's summary. Why do we experience burnout, even when we feel like we are doing everything right? In her groundbreaking book, Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, Amelia Nagoski explores a compelling concept. Burnout is not just a result of being overworked or stressed. It is a condition deeply tied to how we experience and process stress itself. Burnout happens when we are unable to complete the cycle of stress, making it more than just an emotional or physical issue. It is a biological one. According to Nagoski, once we understand the science of stress and how to release it, we can find relief, recover from burnout, and even prevent it from happening again. So what if burnout isn't just something that happens to us, but something we can actively manage? The answer lies in the way we handle stress. By focusing on completing the stress cycle, we can stop burnout before it starts. But how exactly does one complete the stress cycle, and why is it so crucial in preventing burnout? Understanding stress and the stress cycle. To understand how to stop burnout, we first need to break down what stress actually is. Nagoski defines stress as our body's natural response to challenges or threats. It can be triggered by anything from an impending deadline at work to a personal conflict or a life crisis. In response, our body enters a fight-or-flight mode, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones get us ready to face whatever challenges are ahead. However, there is one crucial element that most people overlook. Stress is meant to be temporary. Normally, when we experience stress, our bodies go through a cycle. We encounter a challenge, the stressor. Our bodies react with the stress response, and then we do something to release the built-up stress, the stress cycle. The cycle is completed when we take action running, screaming, laughing, or even crying. The release of stress helps us return to a state of calm, thereby reducing the physical and emotional effects of stress. Unfortunately, in modern life, many of us don't complete this cycle. Instead of actively releasing stress, we continue to internalize it, which can build up over time. When we don't allow ourselves to fully process and release the tension from stressful events, it can lead to chronic stress, fatigue, and eventually burnout. This lack of completion is what makes burnout feel so persistent and unmanageable. The biology behind stress and burnout. Nagoski dives deep into the biological mechanisms at play when we experience stress. She explains that the body is hardwired to respond to threats in specific ways. When our nervous system detects danger, it activates the sympathetic branch, responsible for the fight-or-flight response. This prepares us to fight the threat or run away from it. As part of this response, the body releases adrenaline and cortisol to fuel the necessary actions. However, if the stressor isn't actually resolved, the stress hormones don't get a chance to dissipate. In today's world, many stressors are chronic or lingering, such as financial problems, work demands, or relationship conflicts. Unlike the acute stress of fleeing a predator, modern stress tends to stay with us, preventing our bodies from properly processing and recovering. This is where the cycle gets interrupted, and burnout can take hold. Nagoski stresses that the key to preventing burnout isn't necessarily eliminating stress, but learning how to process it effectively. And that starts with understanding how our bodies react to stress and what we need to do to break the cycle. The importance of completing the stress cycle. The core of burnout is a simple yet powerful message. Stress is not just something we feel in our minds. It's something that happens in our bodies. If we don't complete the stress cycle, we risk carrying that stress with us, day after day, until it manifests as burnout. Nagoski argues that we need to take deliberate action to reset our bodies after stress. This can involve a variety of activities that help us release the built-up tension. Physical movement is one of the most effective ways to do this. Exercise, dancing, stretching, and even something as simple as taking a walk can help reset the body's stress response. The key is to engage in physical activity that feels good to you, something that makes you feel alive and present in the moment. In addition to physical movement, social connection plays a vital role in releasing stress. According to Nagoski, human connection, whether it's through a hug, a conversation, or a support group, signals to our bodies that we are safe, which allows the stress response to subside. Positive social interactions are essential for completing the stress cycle and avoiding burnout. This is particularly important in a world where isolation and loneliness are increasingly common. Another crucial aspect of completing the stress cycle is rest. Nagoski emphasizes the importance of sleep, relaxation, and taking time for yourself. When we don't allow our bodies to recover properly, stress can accumulate, leading to exhaustion and eventual burnout. Why we are more susceptible to burnout today. One of the central themes of burnout is the idea that modern society is structured in such a way that it perpetuates burnout. With constant pressure to achieve, perform, and be productive, many of us are caught in a never-ending cycle of stress. Our work, social lives, and even our self-worth are often defined by our ability to keep up with expectations, leaving little room for self-care or rest. Nagoski argues that women, in particular, face a higher risk of burnout due to societal expectations. The demands placed on women to balance work, family, and personal obligations can be overwhelming. The constant juggling can make it difficult for women to complete the stress cycle, leading to burnout. However, the book is not just about the specific struggles of women. It applies to anyone who feels overwhelmed by the weight of modern life. Nagoski also points out that our culture places a high value on achievement, productivity, and self-sufficiency. This often leads to the mistaken belief that needing help or taking time for self-care is a sign of weakness. In reality, these are vital components of maintaining our mental and physical health. We need to rethink the way we approach success, acknowledging that it's not about pushing through stress, but about recognizing when we need to rest and recharge. How to prevent burnout in the first place. While Nagoski focuses a great deal on how to recover from burnout, she also provides practical advice on how to prevent it. Preventing burnout involves creating habits and routines that prioritize stress relief and well-being. One key strategy is to make self-care a non-negotiable part of your routine. This means setting boundaries around work and making time for activities that help you relax and release stress. This could be something as simple as taking regular breaks, getting enough sleep, and spending time with loved ones. Nagoski also recommends learning how to recognize the early signs of burnout. These can include feelings of fatigue, irritability, or a lack of motivation. Once you notice these signs, it's important to take action before burnout becomes overwhelming. This might involve adjusting your workload, seeking support, or engaging in activities that help you manage stress more effectively. Can we really escape the cycle of burnout? After reading Burnout, it's easy to wonder, can we ever fully escape the cycle of stress and burnout? Is it possible to live in a world so fast-paced and demanding without falling prey to its pressures? The answer, according to Nagoski, lies in our ability to understand and actively manage the stress cycle. It's not about avoiding stress entirely, but about learning how to process it in a healthy and effective way. By completing the stress cycle, engaging in self-care, and seeking social support, we can prevent burnout from taking over our lives. The real question is, how will you take control of your stress cycle? That's it for today's 10 Minutes Goldmine. Thanks for your valuable time. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like and subscribe. It helps us grow and share more insights with you. And if there's a book you'd love to hear, drop its name in the comments. See you in the next one.